welcome to our 2024 first council session of the year. Uh, and I want to welcome all of my new counselors that have joined us at the table. Welcome. And this will be a learning experience, so get ready. All righty, I have item 8 on Brian. Not yet, I'll call it ready with a question mark. Counselor Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam President. Blessings to all. It's 2024. It's New Year. Great, great year. All right, Commissioner. Tell us all about it.
Tony Williams, Commissioner of Parks. Good morning, Madam President. Good afternoon to the council members and new council members. I have
I
agenda.
get morning and they get afternoon.
I know. You know, it's 12 o'clock. It was on the brink. But welcome to the new council members. Councilors, I have agenda item number 9. It's an appropriation of $25,000 to the Syracuse Parks Conservancy. This is a yearly deal. Do we have any questions? I do have the breakdown if you're wondering what on the Parks Conservancy side. All right.
Could you email, if you want, you can email it.
Yes.
Okay. It's also on the appendix.
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner, I remember us always $25,000 of Syracuse Parks Conservancy, but I'm a little, the executive director, who's the executive director?
Heather McClennan.
What's that?
Heather.
Okay.
Heather McClennan.
Okay,
Her
and
last
she
name.
gets $15,000, and that's been,
Yeah, executive director gets $15,000. 3,500 goes to event and program insurance. 6,500 goes to special projects.
I don't remember voting ever on a director's salary. Is it a salary or stipend or whatever?
It's a salary.
Okay. And as far as event and program insurance, I'm surprised that, I mean, most of your events happen inside city parks, so why wouldn't the city policy pay for that? Why would we have to go out and get insurance?
It's a great question, Counselor. I can look into that.
Yeah, if you could.
I will.
Okay, thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Another question? Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. All set.
Thank you. Counselor Williams and Jones-Rouser. Call it.
Oh, thank you, Madam President. I have item 10 for the, I believe it's for the land bank, or for the city. Oh, 10 and 11. Sorry.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year and welcome. Items 10 and 11 deal with a response to a Supreme Court decision out of the United States Supreme Court that our prior seizure procedure for taking tax delinquent properties, not just the city of Syracuse, but throughout the United States, needed to be revised in order to avoid an unconstitutional taking. So what is before you is proposed legislation to address a process that will satisfy the Supreme Court in terms of the manner in which we acquire property for tax delinquencies.
Does that mean moving forward?
Yes.
And what liability will we have on the back end, if any?
With respect to what is before you, it is only a going forward. If there are questions regarding our process in the past, I'm happy to address those either in a memo directly to the board or in executive session.
Okay, because I'm just curious of what that Supreme Court action is going to, how it's going to affect us.
Understood.
So I guess we have to do executive session on that?
Yes.
Okay, so Monday we'll call executive session and get some clarification.
Very good.
You know, just so we're all aware, procedurally, I think that it's still going to be quite a lag between us actually starting to seize property again.
We're hoping not. We're hoping that, assuming adoption of the local law, which is a 2-step process for this board, that the NBD team will be ready to hit the ground running. Yes, when you say lag.
I'm saying lag based on my previous experience. I mean, unless, I don't know how many lawyers are going to actually commit to this.
How many does it take to screw in a light bulb? Is that what you're asking
Well,
me?
well, you know what? Unfortunately, it's taken a long time to screw that light bulb in because you've only had like one lawyer really doing all this for all these years. And I think, obviously we have a housing shortage. This is one way we address the housing shortage. And I think the administration should prioritize whatever we can do to facilitate this. I'm
My
not
op-
saying as far as the legislation, I'm just
No,
saying,
right.
once we get houses in the pipeline, we got to get them over to the land bank.
And my office is working with NBD to try to do that right now. Yes, we are shorthanded in terms of attorneys, but we are looking at processes by which we can be prepared to move forward once the local law is adopted.
And we also, you know, I know we spend money, and there's a budget line to hire outside attorneys. Could we use that line to facilitate this at all?
We're going to look at that, but I think that this
Could we
is
look real
something,
close at that? Because I think that's important.
we definitely will. We're looking at all options, but on the initial end, I think between our office and NBD, we can be ready to move. But yes,
Because there's-
we are looking at
We
as
know there's-
many things as we can to make this process go as smoothly as
You know,
possible.
we know there's two sides. Not only do we have a housing crisis, but, you know, us district counselors and a lot of other counselors hear from neighbors consistently about distressed properties, you know? So
Right.
it's almost two sides of the same question.
Understood.
I know we have a committee meeting, so I won't beleaguer this, but have we, is this what we're doing modeled after what other land banks have started to do, or are we kind of out ahead of it?
We are out ahead of it, and in fact, we have been contacted by NICOM and other organizations throughout the country who are looking at our model as the model moving forward. So understand there are two separate routes. There are municipalities who have their own tax act, which is what we have, and then there are municipalities who follow state law. State law has been put on hold. They don't have a process yet. Everyone else is kind of looking at us as the model for what could be going forward.
It won't be the first time that this land bank has been ahead of everything either. And I appreciate you working with the land bank people on this too.
It's been collaborative and it's been helpful, so.
I just want to follow up on what their determination means. So we can't, okay, all right, we're good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Counselor Williams.
Thank you, Madam President. I have 3 items, 12, 13, and 14.
Okay, so who's speaking to those?
Good afternoon, Council. Patrick Parkinson, Assistant Corporation Counsel. I'm here to speak about item 12. This is a simple name change, ordinance to 396 of 2023. This is our process server. There was a merger between our current process server of Albany Investigators with Alliance Risk Group, Inc. So it's just a simple name change in the ordinance. All of their conditions remain the same. Any questions? Thank you.
Counselors, welcome. Tim Rudd, Budget Director. Counselor's the best job you're ever going to have, just saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Was that a demotion that you, to Budget Director?
Yes.
Yes, I know it was. Yeah.
Very strategic demotion. 13 and 14 are connected. So essentially it's a budget transfer, which we don't do a lot of these because usually departments are self-funding everything, but this is to pay for a software, to buy a document management software for law. So the software line in the special objects doesn't have enough money, so we're moving money from the medical expenses, which is basically just a bigger code that has some amount of uncertainty on it to pay for it. This was an item that popped up a couple times with the previous council, and this is the current iteration trying to get it through. So it'll all be paid for with cash. There's no bonding involved.
So my standard question, so is this the total amount, or are we gonna actually keep adding? Because I know when it comes to the software, we constantly have to keep.
Well, I think this is the total cost for this software over 3 years. The software line overall is probably pretty likely to keep growing. Not in the current budget year, but overall it tends to increase.
We ain't even there yet. We still on 13. Yeah, I'm just curious about the software because I know the cost continues to go up every time we sit at the table. So,
Yes.
all righty.
Any other questions?
Good afternoon again. I don't know if anyone has questions regarding the specific software that we are seeking for the law department. I'm happy to answer questions about that if you do have some.
So we're going to the cloud because what, the storage? Is that why we're going, moving to the cloud?
It's not so much moving it to the cloud as it is right now, the law department has no document management system available to use. It is non-existent. And law, unlike other departments, because of the drafting of legal documents, because of the way that contracts are prepared, because of the way we have to manage what we do, a document management system is really imperative. I quite honestly am not sure how they have carried on as long as they have, but what this system will do will be to make our department far more efficient. It will cut down on the amount of storage we actually need because we won't be saving documents in a way that no one can find them ever. If, God forbid, Joe Barry were not to walk in this building tomorrow, no one would know how to find his documents.
Wow.
This system is a unified system used by law departments and law firms across the country to manage their documents so that they exist and can be used as reference for anyone who comes after them. So this is a foundational process by which we can move forward into the 20th century.
So I know there, municipal government is different from private.
Yes.
But am I understanding correctly that you are trying to move into the direction of digitizing the department? Is that what you're saying, and have we digitized the department?
I don't think digitize is the word I would use.
Okay.
Because we all are using computers. Nobody's using a typewriter anymore. But we're only one step away from a typewriter and a mimeograph machine. So, for instance, if every time a piece of legislation comes before this body, we have to go back and manually try to find the last time it was done, or what was if you guys came to us and said, okay, here's the form we want to use going forward. Joe may know that, but I couldn't find that because there's no way in the way we save documents on our computers right now that allows me to efficiently figure out what that document is, where is it, what's it called, where is it saved. So this software will allow us to share documents amongst all of us. It will allow me to find something when Joe's on vacation. If I got hit by a car tomorrow, Patrick could find anything that I was working on and carry forward. Without it, what happens is every single time I'm reinventing the wheel. Every time I want to send somebody a document to review and they provide comments to me, I have to save it as a whole new document. I have to start over again and show so this software allows us to be 10,000 times more efficient than we are, but more importantly, allows you longevity. It allows people who come in after us to know, what did you do? How did you do it? Where is it? How can I build on what's already been done? It will save so much time and create so much efficiency and be so much more legally salient, if you will, than the process we're using now.
Council is basically just taking it on herself to create a record management in her department because right now they kind of like don't, basically what she's saying, they're all over the place, like some of the contracts. Like contracts that come down, we keep a copy of it, but it's not by charter that they send everything down to us and put in our records. So like some things that they don't send down, we don't have it. And they're scrambling, really trying to find that contract or whatever it is, whether it's another type of legal document. So she's just trying to make right what somewhere along the line didn't get made right.
So it's going to be a shared document for law.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
So if you are working and you save, right now, you can save something to your desktop, right? Because it's efficient for you. Okay, well, that's going to stop because I have no access to your desktop. We're going to save in a uniform way. We're going to have a uniform way by which we name documents so that if you're out of town and I need to find it, I can.
Well, we have that at the United Way. We've been
Yes.
sharing documents for 20 years. But anyway,
Yes.
And is there going to be,
ahead of us.
is there going to be training through the company?
It's included in the cost of the software, yes.
And what's the length of the training?
I apologize, I don't know for certain, but they're going to come in and do one-on-one training with my entire department, and they're going to be available for ongoing questions for a period of time. And so based upon our review and our review with the IT department, we believe that it was sufficient to get them through. It is a software that in my previous life I used, so I have familiarity with it as well, so I'll be able to help the department get through the training process as well.
I have a question, please.
Yes.
You still have paper documents on file?
Well, certainly.
Okay. How far back would you go back in time? Because I'm wondering how much work you'll be doing to put everything on the software.
We cannot transition what we have now into this new software. We will always have the system we have now to refer back to. Because of the way it was saved, because of the system we have, they cannot transition what we already have to this new platform. But from the day we get this going forward, everything will be saved in this new platform. We will always have to reference the old and do our best to do it.
So no
It'll be
system
hard.
migration.
Thank you.
It's not
Correct,
gonna
there's
migrate.
no, right.
And under the same expense, you are also being included in the Kronos payroll. Is that because you're
That's
not?
not me.
No.
But Tim,
That's 13.
Council, before you leave, the paper copies by charter, you do keep some for a term, right?
we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some of the, so by charter, we have to. Right. All right.
Document management retention, we have that as well.
I'm looking at this.
Thank you, everyone.
And I just, go ahead.
I'm sorry, do you have a question?
No, I just want to make a comment. You know, I just, you know, as I think of, you know, the employees and what they have to do and the time and the inefficiency, I could just see time being wasted that could have been used in something else. And then this is a great way to go, because I just, thinking of employees, this is going to make their lives so much easier.
Thank
It's
you
gonna
so
take
much.
time with the transitioning, and we
Yeah.
understand that.
And it's
so-
going to save time in terms of as a resource for the city, so it's
Thank you
great.
so much for recognizing that, because I spend half my day trying to find documents, so thank you.
You had a
Good afternoon, councilors. Anne Marie Deegan, First Deputy Commissioner of Finance. The Kronos item that you see there are for time clocks. So the additional time clocks we needed at one park.
Yeah, she said. But didn't you come before we ended the year for additional time clocks?
This is the same.
Okay.
It's all wrapped into the transfer that
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty, whose items were those? Are you done, Mr. Williams?
I am, thank you.
All righty, Counselor Gathers.
Thank you, Madam President. Happy New Year to everyone, just in time, right? Have items 15 through 17, and we'll start with item 15.
Good afternoon, councilors. My name is Mary Robison. I'm city engineer. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome new common councilors. Item 15 is authorizing a consultant agreement with Bergman Associates for the second phase of the north, south, east, west traffic corridor interconnect project. This is a TIP project, so we're asking for authorization for the final design phase not to exceed $218,117. We have an existing interconnect project which is currently in construction, but we didn't have enough money to build the final leg, which is along James Street. So this is to produce the final design documents for that project to go out to bid, which we now have funding for.
Question for you, Mary, though. The interconnect, how often? Because I can recall it, we've been doing the interconnect project since I've been here. So how often is interconnect? Do we have to continue to move
Well, we've been
forward?
slowly increasing the number of signals that are interconnected. So we started initially in the downtown area, and we're just doing like the main branches. We've done main corridors, so it's just a continual, I guess it'll depend if we want to make this citywide or stick to primary corridors.
Okay, and if we did citywide, it would take some years, right?
Oh, yeah.
How long is a quarters gonna take?
Well, this, I would have to talk with DPW, because we work with them on this project. We're managing it since it's a TIP project. It would depend, how far they want to take it. And this is all managed, the signals are all managed by their traffic management center
control.
down at DPW. And it's an ongoing maintenance.
That will continue
Yep.
forever and ever and ever, okay.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 16, Deputy Commissioner Fordock.
Happy New Year, President Hudson and common councilors. So 16 and 17 are both to apply for grants for the future recycling carts. We intend to have a special committee meeting about the recycling plan for 2024 soon. We're putting together that information. But these are just a preliminary step in applying for grants is that you have to get approval first. One is with New York State DEC, and the other one is with the Recycling Partnership, which specializes in recycling cart rollouts across the entire country.
So if we don't get either of the grants, what happens?
So the one is with the Recycling Partnership. It's pretty much a sure thing. We've been talking to them. They just need
What's that, DEC?
the Recycling Partnership is
Okay.
they give us $15 per cart plus $1 for public education, and they just need a contract and things to start moving so they can start working with us. The New York State
Don't jump, wait, don't
Oh.
jump. Let me ask you a question. So you said the public education. How much, what's the time span for the public education? Are there a set amount of hours? Are there so many areas you're supposed to hit? What's that?
They have all of that worked out. So they've done hundreds of these across the country. And so they come prepared with every type of mailing, whether it's postcards, brochures, letters, all the graphics, whether it's billboards, TV commercials. They come prepared with all of that with a project manager who helps us do the public education and provides us some funding to carry that out. So it's really what they do. It's their specialty.
Is some of that carried in different languages?
They
So
do,
that
yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yep. And it's pretty cool, their website. You can just upload and plug in city graphics and city colors and customize their templates to work for your city. And they know all the problems. They know all the snafus that can happen because they've experienced it in every city across the country.
I think that's a good thing because the more public education that we can get out there, then we don't keep running into all these bumps and hurdles.
Correct. And we're going to work with Okra, of course, as well.
And speaking of Okra, are we going to bear the responsibility of getting the old bins back to Okra?
We will have to work out a plan. Okra
Put them in
actually.
the cart.
Okra actually bought the bins with the DEC grant mentioned, and they do have a responsibility to collect them and use them. But they are phasing out blue bins, as you know, countywide. So it'll be harder and harder to get those once Okra stops providing them.
Thank you. It's not about this, but I just want to put it out there so if someone's listening, because I've got a couple phone calls. People's trash cans are missing. What is the process?
Like their new cart is missing? Yep, they just call City Line.
Just call City
Yep.
Line and report it, and then they can get a new
Yep,
trash can? Okay.
absolutely.
Are they still free?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, and we're keeping track of all the numbers associated. So if we find it 2 streets down, we can actually return
Bring
it.
it back.
I would encourage them, if possible, counselors, to write their address on the side. That really helps.
I got something for you too, because I talked to you about that because I've noticed that carts are being parked at boarded up houses.
Yeah, if you know of any, please let me know, for sure. We did our best. The contractor that rolled them out, if they were vacant, they didn't deliver a lot of them if they were boarded up windows, and code enforcement's been keeping me aware as well.
But maybe they stole it from somebody.
And speaking of carts, and I have spoken to you about this, about the position, the sanitation crew place
Yes.
the cart.
The information that you sent me
constituent.
was vital.
Yeah, how do we,
It's-
what process do we take as a city to train employees to make sure that
They just need some reminders, and, it's probably not something they thought about, is, where I'm putting this can, does it make it difficult to pull in a driveway? They probably thought, oh, I'm putting it on a flat level surface, I'm leaving it where I'm supposed to. So it just takes a little education.
Yeah, because that incident that we spoke about, they called me back still very furious because it wasn't corrected.
Yeah.
And it's not just them, I've experienced that myself,
Yes,
And
if you can
it's-
give me, addresses, that really helps me to narrow down the crew that we need to single out.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does the team have to get a street done within a certain time? Like, you got to get this street done within 3-4 minutes?
No.
There's no pressure, because we have seen, and on my street, where the carts are laid on the ground or they're placed under the curb, so a vehicle wants to park there, they cannot park there.
They're in the,
In other
So-
words, they're left on the curb, they're not on the sidewalk position that they were left. Or sometimes trash residue from a car is just left right on the lawn of the property of the
if you could
homeowners.
give me that information, give me that street, we can send somebody back through and they can take corrective action with that
Right.
crew.
Right, I know everybody's pressed, and I've seen this, they're very in a hurry to get the job done, but sometimes we see cans or bottles just left on lawn, not picked up. It doesn't take long. So I think when we're talking about improving our neighborhoods, making them clean from trash, let's all do this together. And you do a tremendous job. The whole staff does. You work very hard in all this type of weather. But, just a kind reminder, please.
Okay, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you.
I was just thinking, Commissioner, I know we all had blue bins, and I'm sure Counselor Gathers is going to have a meeting on this when you decide to roll these
Yes.
things out. But we all had blue bins, and now we're going to have recyclable containers that are 96 gallons.
That is the plan, correct?
Yeah, because I'm just wondering I'm just thinking about some of my constituents who aren't maybe as flexible as they used to be, hauling 2 96-gallon containers.
Yep, and we make exceptions, for handicapped, elderly,
No, you do,
disabled,
but
so.
do we recycle that much? That we need 96 gallons, can we get a smaller containers?
So-
Maybe this time?
It'll definitely be in the plan presented, but I know there was some conversations with Councilor Gathers and President Hudson with Corey and Jeremy. So the plan would be biweekly recycling with 96-gallon carts.
Bi-weekly?
It is the national standard, of what occurs when you do a cart rollout. And we can certainly, discuss that more in the future and at the special committee meeting, but that is
Yes,
the plan.
I would say.
I know that Councilor Gathers is going to have a committee meeting on this, and I just want to say this, right, because I told y'all before, I ride a lot. And the trash cans that's on the corner, I don't know who they belong to.
The public ones?
Yeah. So I guess they figured they'll beat us to the punch. So somebody had a party, and all of their recyclables, they put in the public trash can, which is running over. So that's what they do. They get rid of their stuff in the public trash can.
Yeah, and it's before carts, it was a problem. At my apartment on James Street, and a neighbor used to do it every day. And so it comes down to enforcement sometimes. I believe we had to have Carlos intervene.
Is Carlos our only enforcement officer?
Yes, he is. He's the only ordinance officer, right, Chief, Deputy Chief? Is Carlos our only ordinance officer? They're not they're not all the time with him, right? Oh, he does?
Okay.
Because I never see any tickets but his. Okay. He just claims credit for the other guy, or what? Okay.
We can all agree that Carlos Romaine is amazing.
So
Carlos Romaine should have a cape. We should give him a cape. He's a Superman. That's what he is.
He is.
So in regards to the application for the recycling carts, absolutely, I think we can be all in favor of that. We will have a committee meeting to discuss the operations of the recycling carts and what the purpose of that is. So if there's no other questions on this, we can go to the item 17.
So 17 is the exact same, it's
Exact same
just
thing?
with the
Okay.
New York State DEC.
Okay, so they're both concurrent. All right, perfect. If there's no further questions or comments, Madam President, I'm all set.
Thank you. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Study session, Corey.